Hey there guys, on today's episode of What's Inside, we're going to be looking at this BMW seat module. This module is known as the driver's side seat module, or SMFA on BMWs. So what the heck is it? Well, this module is responsible for controlling the heated and cooled seat functionality along with all the adjustments the seat's capable of. In total, it controls 3 servo motors and it takes readings from the Hall effect sensors on each of them. This module can also activate the seat adjustments independently as part of the memory seat functionality, as well as store fault codes related to the seat adjustments and heating functionality. It's surprisingly smart for being such a small piece of the overall vehicle. The outside of this module is relatively basic. There's provisions for 8 total connectors. If we go through them from left to right, this connector connects the switch panel that allows for control of the seat. This connector is for the massage seats and lumbar support. This one is for seat ventilation, also known as cooled seats. This one's for the backrest heating. This one's for the seat cushion heating under your butt. And this one's for power input, which is, 12 volts DC plus a ground. And finally, the 2 big ones we have here. The first one's for all the seat cushion related motors and sensors, and the second one is for all the back cushion related motors and sensors. That's about it for the outside of the module. We have a label and unfortunately some water damage, but honestly, there's no fasteners, no buttons, basically nothing else. Moving to the inside of the module, it's honestly proved quite difficult to open. The module has a number of clips and tabs that hold it closed, and as I said, no fasteners in sight. I ended up prying at it with this screwdriver for a pretty long time until it finally popped open. Please enjoy this jump cut to the final open module. Aha, here we go. And that was mostly non-destructive. And once inside, the module is surprisingly basic. On the PCB, you can see here we have some metal bands. I'm not entirely sure what they're for. Maybe like a physical fuse for some of the high amp seat heating circuits. Next, all these little white boxes are Nexum EX2 series automotive relays. They do motor control, so they can turn the motors on and off. Up here, you can see we have 2 power MOSFETs from ON Semiconductor. And then down here, we've got the brains of the unit. This is a Freescale or NXP microcontroller, and we'll dive deeper into it later. Aside from the brains, we've got some other miscellaneous components. A multiplexer chip, some resistors, some unpopulated pads, all sorts of stuff. So now that brings us to the question, how does it work? First, 12 volt DC power comes in through the connector here, and that powers the module and all of the connected seat motors. This is the same connector that carries the CAN and LIN buses from the vehicle, which allow for the remote triggering of seat adjustments. Now, let's pretend you're in the car and you want to adjust your seat. On the side of the seat, there's a control panel with all the buttons used for seat adjustment. You press the button to move the seat base forward, and the button press is transmitted to the seat module through this connector. Then, the main microprocessor of the module processes this input and checks the current status of the Hall effect sensor for that motor. The Hall effect sensor is connected to the servo motor, and it tells the module exactly where the seat is currently positioned and how much further the motor can move before the maximum adjustment point is reached. If there's still room to move the seat, the module then applies power through this relay and through pins 5 and 18 of the connector here. Crazy enough, the seat's servo motors can pull as much as 16 amps when running. That power travels through the wiring harness into this motor here, located at the bottom rail of the seat. This motor then spins, moving the seat forward or backwards. So now, what makes this module extra cool and smart? Honestly, there's a number of things. So first off, those Hall effect sensors we mentioned. The presence of this sensor is what makes the memory seat functionality even possible. Without it, the seat wouldn't know where it's currently located, making it impossible to find another position. Next, the current measurement functionality. This module actually has current sensing logic built into its power distribution for the motors, which means it can detect shorts, over voltage conditions, or other issues. That can save your seat and module from further damage or things like fires, which is something that older cars might not be able to detect or stop. And finally, this module actually even has overheating protection built in, and it's not in the way you would normally think. There are no temperature sensors present anywhere in the seat. Instead, the module is actually programmed with a temperature model that can estimate the current temperature of the motor by calculating how active the motor has been since the last time it was stopped. It then uses these calculations to determine when to switch the motor off automatically, preventing any potential damage due to overheating. And thus, we have a modern BMW seat module. It's honestly a pretty impressive and smart module for the, extremely minor role it plays within the car. Only a few generations ago, pulling a metal lever was the most common way to adjust your seat. Now, not only do we have electronic adjustment, but we have position detection, overheat protection, short circuit detection, and more. If you have any questions, feedback, or would like to learn more about the module, feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to improve future videos, and I'm always down to chat about the topics I love. And with that, my name is Tim, and this has been Every Medium. Thanks for watching.